We will be starting in approximately 1 minute and 44 seconds. We will be starting in approximately 1 minute. Hi, and thank you for joining me on this Thursday afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. My name is Wayne from Ascend Custom Designs. I am a small business owner and a part of the xTool Squad program. What is the xTool Squad, you might ask? The xTool Squad is a global network of experienced makers, educators, and small business owners such as myself. We offer one-on-one demos of the products that we own, and the demos are a mix of online and in-person. It differs by the host. We also offer material testing and skill training. Material testing involves testing customer supplied samples under a number of different parameters to get you perfect results. And skill training is essentially a one-on-one masterclass with an xTool Squad member who will help you skip any learning curve with help from initial setup and maintenance to helping you perfect your projects. It's really customer oriented, so it depends on your needs. So please do ask if unsure. Right now, xTool are offering a promotion or running a promotion, and the promotion involves the demo side. So right now you can book a one-on-one demo either in person or online, absolutely free of any of their products. So if I jump over to xTool's website, they have this local service here, product demo. When you click on that, you'll get this website here will pop up. This here, the projects or products that xTool sell, absolutely free. So if you want a physical sample just sent to you of the DTF film, there is a cost to that. But in terms of physically having a demo, either in person or online, absolutely free. So the way it works is xTool will pay the host you select, regardless if you buy or not, and you can have an honest demo. So it's very simple, very straightforward. You select in person, online. So you could go, I want in person, and then you could go London, live London way. Let's have a look around there. Paul Steed. Paul has F2 Ultra, UV, F2 Ultra, P2S. So it could be that you go, do you know what? I want the metal fab machine. And then straight away, you got Mandy. You see how simple it is. You literally just go up and down. It's very, very straightforward. In terms of payment, zero payment is required for product demos. If you're looking to have material testing or skill training, that is a paid for service, and the host will get paid for doing that service for you. So please do check it out. And again, you just go along here, local service, and you have the product demo. And before I continue, I get asked about the software. So to download the software, simply go to software, xTool Studio, and then that will take you to this page here. So at the top, just hit download, and it will take you to the bottom of the page. It knows what operating system you have, or it should do. If not, you can select the relevant version. So if I'm using my Mac, but I want to download the Windows version, put it on a USB drive and put it on the PC, I have that option. But it works for Apple Silicon Macs as well as Intel-based Macs. And I'm not sure how long it will support Intel-based Macs now that Apple is no longer updating the operating system. But for now, it does support Intel-based Macs. I do get asked that. I will post the software link in the comments. So if anyone's interested, I will pop that in the comments. And then in terms of what we will be doing today, I have a rough idea of the workshop. So I will go over the xTool M2 technical information. So the actual tech specs and what you can expect from it in terms of performance, what it will cut, and what it won't. So for example, it will cut wood, but we're not going to cut vinyl. So I get asked that a lot because people are upgrading. So I'll just mention that right now. I'll then show you a physical look of the machine. So I've got a video that I prepared. I've done it because I get a lot of reflection. So I've done it while I have the blinds down. Right now I have the M2 venting out the window and there's a reflection. And if there's any questions while I play that video, I can answer them. Do some quick laser safety, and then we'll jump straight into the xTool Studio. So this is xTool's proprietary software. It works with just xTool's lasers, but it's absolutely free. I'll then go over some of the features, such as auto material detection and the AI side, hopefully. And then some of the materials I'll work on, cork coasters, custom cards, keychains. We'll probably jump on a keychain today. But I also want to show you some real world examples. So this is a box, gift box. Inside is the product. What I want to have a look at is engraving the gift box to make it a more high value looking, a more premium product. So we're going to do a materials test on that. I have done a materials test on a different machine, so I might start with this one and then see how it looks on that one as the finished product. So I always keep scraps of material as it's good for testing. And if anyone has any questions, please do drop them in the comments. Alternatively, my contact information is below. So wayne@ascendcd.com. You can also contact me on WhatsApp or iMessage, or give me a classic phone call. So my contact number is +44 7846 110 270. And if you have any questions, please do let me know. So we'll jump on now to the tech specs. And I will show you the xTool website when we do finish this. So right now, xTool have 4 modules available for the M2. So you have the 10 watt and 20 watt diode modules. And then you have the 3 watt infrared module. So there's the 3 variations of laser. So 2 of them are the same laser, the diode laser, just varying strengths. And then you do have this inkjet module. So it's a CMYK inkjet module. And what that means is cyan, magenta, yellow, and the K is black. So it's full color. This machine is a fully enclosed class 1 laser. And what that means is it will not operate with the lid open. You might have heard me talk about safety glasses and needing them if you operate the machine with the lid open. This one, you don't have that option. It will only work with the lid down. So you're fully protected. You don't need to worry. The main thing you need to do is just vent the smoke, and that's it. This does have dual cameras. So it has a 5 megapixel camera, and that's a panoramic camera, and that is located on the lid. Then it also has a 2 megapixel close-up camera, which is located to the right of where the modules fit in. It does have auto material detection, or auto detects material, should I say. So if you're not sure what you're putting in, you can use the AI function to detect what material it is. realistically, you should know what material you're putting in for safety reasons. And the reason I say that is you might have a leather wallet. It will identify it as a leather wallet and come up with some settings. But that doesn't mean you should engrave the leather wallet. Leather, for example, if it's natural leather or is it fake leather? If it's fake leather, does it contain PVC? If it does, you don't want to be engraving it. If it's natural leather and it's been tanned with something that other than vegetable oil, you don't really want to be engraving it because you don't want to release the chemicals that was in that tanning solution. So always know your material. If it's a piece of wood and you're not sure what settings it is, or a slate coaster or cork coaster, that's one thing, but you do have to be careful. So I always like to know my material, but the AI auto material detect is fantastic. It's worked great so far. In terms of speed, the maximum speed is 600 millimeters a second. And that's because it's a gantry-based laser and it has to move left and right and up and down. In terms of assembly, there's no assembly required. You can use this straight out the box. It's just a case of unpacking everything, and it's very well packaged. In terms of the workspace, you're looking at 42.6 centimeters by 32 centimeters, and that is the maximum work area, and that is for using the 10 watt and 20 watt diode laser modules. If you're using the infrared or ink modules, that space will be reduced because the modules are bigger and take up more space. So do bear that in mind. So the maximum workspace again is 42.6 centimeters by 32 centimeters. If you want to find out more information, you can scan the QR code below and that will take you directly to xTool's website. And if I show you xTool's website right now, so this is the xTool M2. That is the maximum working area. And what we'll do is we jump to the bottom of this page. And if I just scroll up, there's a couple of things I just want to point out. So here you have the working area, 10 watt, 20 watt. It's the exact same work area for either the 10 watt or the 20 watt. The 3 watt, you get reduced slightly work area. And again, that's because the infrared module is slightly bigger. And then with the inkjet module, that's the smallest work area that you have. So 300 mil by 294 millimeters. So that's 30 centimeters by 29.4 centimeters. So do bear that in mind when you are ordering. If you want to have a bigger work area than this, you're realistically looking at a different machine. And this is how it compares to the M1 Ultra. I get asked this a lot, so I get asked about vinyl, and I'll cover that in safety. If you're looking to cut vinyl on this machine, this is not the machine for you. There is laser safe vinyl, and it specifically says laser safe vinyl. I won't cover that. Generally speaking, vinyl is a no-go because it contains PVC. So what we'll do now is we'll jump over to the physical machine. So what I'll do is I'll play you a pre-recorded video that I took yesterday, about 6 minutes long. If anyone has any questions, please do let me know. This is a physical look of the xTool M2. On the front, you have an LED indicator along with a button. When you send the job, this indicator will change and you simply press this button to start it. In terms of turning it on and off, there is a power button on the back, and this is the actual hose pipe that comes with the machine. So it's approximately 1.2 meters. I have this venting outside. You can either vent it to the air purifier or the AP2. If you do buy the air purifier, you will need the adapter. So when you select the air purifier, do select the version for the M2. It's the same machine. It just comes with an adapter, and the adapter looks something similar to this, and it simply allows you to connect the 8 centimeter hose to the 7 centimeter back of the air purifier. In terms of the camera that we talked about, on the lid, if you follow this white line up, this is the 5 megapixel camera. If I close this lid as I'm talking, you might hear it beep. If I do it again, what it's doing is it's taking a picture of the bed every time you close the lid. If anyone knows about cameras in machines, this is very handy. You have to press the button manually usually to update the picture. This is a nice automatic way of taking an update of the bed. The 2 megapixel camera is located next to where the modules lie. So this here is where the 2 megapixel close-up camera comes into play. So if I leave this lid open, right now I have the print module installed. If I show you just how easy that is to change, you simply hold it and pull on this USB-C cable that is in the side, and it just pulls off. On the back, you have these 2 metal prongs. They fit nicely in here, and the magnets pull it directly into place. So if I switch between that and the 10-watt laser diode module, and again you have this USB-C connectivity on the back, simply one hand snaps in, and I can just hold it and snap it in. It's literally that simple. So switching between the modules is very effortless. It does come with 4 of these magnets. So instead of the honeycomb bed, you just have this bed here. That's to reduce the footprint of the machine as well as the cost. So you can use these little devices here, this little magnet, to switch and turn and hold material. You can raise material off the bed. Actually quite genius. I will show you these close up on the desk camera. What I'll do now is I will switch over to the iPhone and I'll show you a close-up view of the actual bed as well as the camera that's located in it. This is a close-up using the iPhone. So again, this is what I talked about, the magnets that come with it. So again, I'll show you this under the desk camera so you can have a better look. But it's very good for gripping material. You can twist and turn it, snap it into place. One of the things I will note is in the corner here, when you fit this, this is specifically for the print module, and that is because the print module has a cover on the side or the bottom. I don't know how well you can see that, but the laser will lock into that and pull it up. So it pulls it off. This cover here on the bottom stops the ink from drying up. This is a close-up of the connectivity, and I'll just do this with one hand. So again, to switch modules, you simply take out the USB-C cable. And again, I'm doing this with one hand, and you just pull it off. In terms of what the back looks like, you got them 2 metal prongs, and the 2 metal prongs fit nicely into the back there. And I don't know if you can hear it, it just literally snaps into place. And again, I'm doing this one-handed. You just put this USB-C cable into here, and there you go. It's much easier with 2 hands. So that's on now. And if I just show you underneath, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. I can't focus it, unfortunately, but that's where the 2 megapixel close-up camera is. So if I just hover over it, you can see it just here. There's the camera sign, and on the actual lid is that 5 megapixel camera. If you should hopefully hear a beep. There we go, and it's done. So it's took a picture. This is the magnets that come with the xTool M2. So you get 4 of these. This is the underside. That is what it looks like from the side. And that is what it looks like when you pull it out. So these simply pull out, and you can twist and snap them. And again, if I show you from this angle, they pull out and twist and snap, and they just pull down. So these are very good for gripping material. I've gripped wood and I'm able to raise it off the bed. So when you're cutting, you want it raised up slightly so air can get underneath it, so you get a smoother finish, a smoother cut with minimal charring. This is actually a novel way of being able to do that without using a honeycomb. If anyone has any questions about that, please do let me know. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I will cover some laser safety now, and then I will physically show you again the M2 in the office. So that video was recorded yesterday. I hope it was helpful. So in terms of safety, never leave the machine unattended. It's pretty common sense, I think. It's a laser source. There is a high probability of a fire, or a higher probability, I should say. So you want to always be in the room when it's operating. And then flat stable surface, you'll get optimum results if it's on a flat stable surface. If the surface is neither flat nor stable, the item will move around, it will rock. You don't want that to happen. You won't get an ideal engrave. So a flat stable surface, don't modify the machine. There is a light source in it, so in this case diode or infrared, and it has an enclosure built around it for a reason, to protect you from the light. So don't modify it, you don't want it to be leaking light. And then ventilation, so you do want to vent this, and you do have a couple of options. So the first option is vent it outside. That is the preferred route. I know it's not always possible, and that is why you're able to vent it inside with either the air purifier or the AP2. So the air purifier 2 is a bigger air purifier. It does cost more, and it fits straight into the hose pipe that comes with the M2. The air purifier is a reduced footprint, and it will work with that. You just need to make sure to buy the M2 version, and the M2 version will come with an adapter that will downsize the pipe from a 80 mil or 8 centimeter pipe size to the 70 mil or 7 centimeter pipe size that works with the air purifier, and it will work with the air purifier. And then in terms of materials that you should never engrave or cut, PVC or vinyl, I just won't do it. Vinyl contains PVC more often than not. So if you're looking to just add this to what you're doing at the moment, and you do a lot of vinyl and you want to use your existing vinyl, the likelihood is it contains PVC, and it's just not possible. Or it is, you can do it, but it's highly dangerous. So I highly recommend. In fact, I'll say do not do it. It will damage your lungs. It will damage your machine. It's just not worth it. And then safety glasses. xTool do sell their own safety glasses. I do have a pair, as well as a third-party pair. I have a few pairs. Good to have. In this case, the M2, it cannot operate with the lid open. So there's no need to have safety glasses with this specific machine. With that being said, we'll jump over now to a physical look at the machine, and then we'll jump straight into the software. So this over here is the M2. You would have seen it in the video. And what I will do is I'll be using these magnetic grips. And what we'll do is we will put in, and we'll start with a simple keychain. So I'll put that in the work area once I open the software. So we'll jump straight in to the software. And what I'll do while we're here is I will just make a note of that QR code to the side. xTool have been very generous. If you scan that QR code, you'll be taken to a website where you'll be asked your name and email address, and you can enter into a competition, I guess, to be able to win a £100 gift card for xTool's store. So very generous. So please do scan that QR code. In the actual software, so this is the xTool Studio software. What I'll do is I'll make this full screen. So this is where we will make our projects come alive or turn them into something tangible. First thing you should be noted is the xTool Academy. This is an official resource. Please do check it out. They have all their products on there. So the M2, getting started. This is an official resource. It is very helpful. They also have under general, laser safety. This is just good knowledge to have all around. Highly recommend you do that. They also have courses. So creators have teamed up with xTool. So in this case, Paul has created a little course. I highly recommend you check it out. It's all good stuff, good knowledge, good for people to know. And you can find him and follow him on social media here. I will briefly cover custom things. So custom things is a way that xTool's made it effortless to integrate ordering. So if you sell products, which is this is your business and you want to sell products online or maybe in person, this is a very nice option. So you can create a product, and then what you do is when the customer orders the product, it goes to a website. They can order it, you set up all the parameters, and it comes in literally as an order that is ready to engrave. And you just click the button and it will open up in the software, and all you have to do is process it. So gone are the times where you're spending hours tweaking a design for a customer. You would have to check it out. There is a cost to it. If you go to home and scroll down, there is a free version. It lets you process 10 orders in the month. And then for the low fee of $19 a month, you can process 100 orders, and the packages go up. If you're interested in custom things or want a one-on-one demo, please do reach out to me and I can arrange that. Finally, there's this Atom. So Atom is xTool's creative space where you can share or download projects. So the xTool have a complete ecosystem now, not just the software, but a way that you can share files, download files, a place where you can learn about the machine, the xTool Academy, and a place that is specifically just for selling, so custom things. And I advise you check them out. If you get stuck or need more information, please do reach out. So if we jump straight into a project, so up here you have new project, or you can click this plus sign up here. They both do the same thing. So this is our blank canvas. So right now it's connected to the F2 Ultra. So it connects to the machine that you was using last. I will switch it over to the M2, and it's just that effortless. So if I show you this, it took a picture of bed. What we will do is we will enable this auto mode. So I'll show you how you can do it automatically, and then I'll show you how you do it manually. So we'll enable this auto mode. So I've enabled that, and what I will do is I will put just a blank keychain. It's engraved on one side, it's blank on the other, and I'll drop that into the bed. So you can see me do this. So I've opened up the lid. It's made a beeping sound, captured the image, and it's auto measured. And it's taken a picture, a close-up picture, so you can see. So there's several things that happened here. The first one is when the lid closes, it always automatically takes a picture using a panoramic camera. So the panoramic camera, you can see it all grayed out here. It's far up. The resolution isn't that great because it's so high up, but it gives a rough idea of what the location of items in the bed. And that close-up camera, you can see the color difference of the black bed here. So it's automatically identified the material. It took a measurement of its thickness, adjusted the laser appropriately, and then it took a close-up picture. So that's the auto mode. It's quite something. So we have a couple of things now. The first thing we could say is we do know the material. So in this case, we could go, we know the material. It's a wooden keychain. So you can also find it under wood, and you can scroll down and you've got loads and loads of settings. So wooden chip keychain, wooden keychain, and this will work with all of these, and that's some precautions. If I hit this apply button, it will apply those settings, and I'll show you what I mean. So I won't apply it, I will just enter some text. So I'll zoom in and go W for Wayne. I'll make it red so it stands out. And these colors are just for your benefit. This is not what color it will engrave. This is so you can manage your assets better. So I've made it red. Typically I color code things. So red is a cut, blue is an engrave, dark blue is an engrave that I've done at a slower speed to maybe get a different effect. So you can do that. So if I engrave right now, 1% power, 80% speed, that's the default that it comes out with in terms of settings. So if we change this again, unknown material, so you can see here still 1 and 80, and I will apply the wooden keychains. Hit apply. And it's not done it. It's very typical. Okay, in this case, there probably isn't settings for the M2 yet for this one. But what we'll do, if there was, it would change. If I was to change this to something I know does work. There we go. And you can see something like this, a material test for an engrave. So in this case, we'll just do AI material recognition. We'll capture an image using the device, or we can upload our own pictures. And hit apply. I've not added any other information. You can, and again, realistically, you should know the material you're working on. So this will go through what's happening. And it's identified as a natural wood keychain. So to score it, it's saying 40% power, 120 speed, 1 pass. To engrave it, it's saying 45% power, 180 speed, 100 lines per centimeter, 1 pass. And then cutting, not recommended, bitmap image, Jarvis, 160, 180 lines per centimeter, 20% power. I find that these are a good base setting to get you going. So we'll go with this. We'll say, okay, we like that. Hit apply, and it's applied the settings. So what I can do is do another close-up picture. There we go. I just want to use that close-up camera to make sure that I'm aligning the element correctly. So I like where it is. I'll have it down here. And then if I select it, what I'll do is I might go, do you know what? I want to do 70% power and 120 in terms of lines per centimeter. So I'm just going to make this a little darker. And the lines per centimeter is how many times it can engrave in that centimeter. So it'll have 120 lines in a centimeter of space. So it's cramming more detail in there. So if you have something that's very detailed, you want to increase the lines per centimeter, but it is dependent on the material that you're engraving on. Some materials can handle high lines per centimeter, others can't. So wood, generally, you wouldn't want more than 180, say. And it depends on the wood. Some wood is better than others. It's something that you learn as you go along. So if I hit the process button, so if I just hide my face, down here you've got the process button. And that shows you what's going to engrave on the screen. So what you're seeing on the screen now is what will engrave. In the bottom left-hand corner, you can see a live video. That's not a video from the machine. This is an external camera. So if I hit start, what it's done now is it sent the job to the M2. So if I switch over to the camera here, I don't know how well you can see it, but the light on this is now green. So it's not a white light, it's a green light. So a job has been sent to it. Now, if I hit this button here, it will start. So you'll see the job moving. Now, you might have just briefly seen it on the screen in the bottom corner. You got enable monitoring. That will pop and use the real-time camera in there. So in the bottom left corner, that's an external camera. What you're seeing here, where my mouse is, that square, that's a camera from inside bed of the machine. So it's fantastic that you can have a look at it. This is a feature that's in, I believe, the P3. So this has some fairly advanced features in it. So I'm just going to pop over there. And again, because this machine is enclosed, I do not have to wear safety glasses. So I'm just peering in and I can see it's a nice dark engrave, which I always opt for. I don't like light engraves. I like contrast. So it's enough contrast, but it doesn't look burnt. So that is engraving away. And it will take 20 more seconds. So you might have noticed if you've watched any of my other lives and you've seen me use a Galvo laser, you might understand now why the Galvo lasers are so much quicker than a gantry-based laser. So a Galvo laser doesn't move around. It bounces the laser off a mirror that moves. So that is done. So what I'll do is I'll go over and take this out the bed. So I'll raise this, leave it open. I'll take this out, and what I'll do is I'll show you what it looks like under the desk camera. So we switch over to the desk camera. This is what it looks like. This was done just now on the M2. And you can see, if I leave this just here, let's see if I can zoom in on it without it. If I leave that there, and what I'll do is I'll switch over to the engraver camera and just cut back. So you can see that in the bottom corner. It's engraved exactly where we wanted it to using the camera. I didn't do any framing on this. I was very, very confident using the close-up camera where it will engrave, and you can see it's engraved where I thought it was going to engrave. So this is a very good budget machine, but it's also a very good machine to get if you're new to laser engraving. If you want to add something to your portfolio, something additional that you can do, this is a great machine to start with, as it has a lot of advanced features at a very affordable price point. And then in terms of the price, if we jump over and click shop, there is a kind of sale on this machine, I guess. Right now you can save £50 off the machine. I believe the sale will end on the 30th of June. Don't quote me on that. So after that, it will jump up to £600 for the basic, and this is the basic machine, so 10 watt standalone. The machine I have here is the 10 watt deluxe bundle. So I have the print head as well as the RA3 light and a 10 watt diode. So I don't have the infrared laser. I don't have the 20 watt diode. I have the 10 watt. So two things I should mention as well is the RA3 light allows you to engrave objects that are cylindrical and up to 10 centimeters in diameter. And the way that works is the laser will actually take out and mount at a completely different angle. So it goes from vertical to horizontal. If I scroll down, in fact, if I go back to this, I'll show you exactly what I mean. Let me just have a quick look. It should be on here. There we go. There it is. RA3 light. So that laser aperture will mount from vertical to horizontal. So it's out the box thinking from xTool. And this is why they're able to get all these advanced features and keep the profile down, keep the price down by using out the box thinking. The M2 doesn't have a riser base and has a max operating height of 26 mil, I believe. But when you mount it, if you want to do cylindrical objects, it's up to 10 centimeters in diameter. So if you're just using the laser to cut wood, it won't work on anything thicker than 26 mil. So do keep that in mind. If you're looking for a laser with a larger work area as well as height that it can work on, you'd be looking at a different machine. You'd be looking at either the S1, the P2S, or the P3. So those are very different machines, and they're for very different people. If you're starting out, this again is a very, very good budget machine. You can do a lot of things with this machine. So with that being said, we'll jump back into software. So what I want to do now is more of something that's practical. I have, if I switch over to my desk camera, I have gift boxes. So these gift boxes, if I just zoom out a little bit, there we go. So these gift boxes have keychains in them that I've engraved on a different machine. What I want to do is do a materials test on the actual box and see if it's feasible to, one, engrave, and two, does it look good? So I know it can engrave. So on the back, it's just painted or dyed, should I say, cardstock, and it's what I want to do is break through the layers and get a contrast. So I did this on a different machine. I did this on the F2. What we'll do is we'll have a look and see about doing a materials test on this, and it will look something similar to that, and you can see how easy it is. So I'll just drop this into the bed, and I'll also do it on the other side, but they're varying heights. I don't know if you can see that. So we'll do one at a time. If I switch over now back to the software, I'm going to zoom out. And then what I'll do is I will do the lid first. It's pretty cool how it's done it. This is like a black gift box that kind of blends in with the bed, and it still was able to identify it. So to do a materials test, let me delete that. What I'm going to do is I like to do a little square. I zoom in there. I'll make this red, and we'll say engrave. So I've made a square. I'm going to change the parameters in terms of height and width up here. At the moment, the height and width will go in proportion so that the ratio, the aspect ratio is locked. So I'll untick that, and I'll go 2 millimeters by 2 millimeters because we only have a small space to work with. In fact, you know what? My usual 3 by 3 might work. We'll go with that. So 3 by 3, I've selected that, what we just selected, what we just made, and I have it on engrave still. And if I go over to applications on the left-hand side, you got this material test array. So I click on that, and straight away it's duplicated that in a form here. So what we'll do is I'll say power-wise, maximum of 80% power, minimum of 30% power. We'll have 5 columns, so 5 by 5, max speed. So for engrave, I think we're looking realistically maybe 300 to 100. We don't want to go slow, as if you go slow and the power is high, there's higher chance of creating a flame. So I'd rather undershoot it to begin with and then dial it in as it goes. So I'm happy with that. And I'll hit that Okay, so now it's created that test grid. So what I want to do first is I'm just going to ungroup it. I'm going to select all these ones here. And I'm going to group them. And I'm just going to select the other stuff. Change the color. And make it so it won't engrave that. So basically what I've done, I'm making it so it only does this little square chart here, as well as the power and the speed. In fact, you know what? We'll make it so it will only engrave need to ungroup that. There we go. We'll make this blue as well. You can see just how easy it is. And I'll make sure that these output. And what I'll do is we'll group all the blue stuff together. And we'll just group it all together. So when you group stuff, they group them together. And if you group a group, it will group the group together. So they all nest into each other. So what we do is they'll move together. So I'll engrave that just here. But what I'll do is I'll take a close-up picture just to make sure I'm happy with where it's going to engrave. I'm happy with where it will engrave. Move that up. There we go. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to hit process. On the screen, all we have are these squares. And that is because that is all that will engrave. When I went on it, so when I went on to, so if I click on the blue layer, all the blue items, you can see here that output is off. If I turn that output on, you can see it will engrave. So what you see on this screen before you hit the start button, so what you see here before you hit the start button is what will engrave. So I want to turn off the blue layer, and this is why we have these different layers. And then I'll start it. And then again, I'm going to press that button and it will start the job. So right now it's going to start it, and I'll enable the monitoring. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a quick look. So this is going to take 5 minutes, and it's well worth doing because we'll get something very valuable. So right now, I'm going to be honest, I'm happy with the one square it's done already, with how the contrast looks. And while that's engraving, so when you do a materials test, I highly recommend, especially if it's flammable material, that you keep an eye on it. So you don't want to leave the room. For example, if I switch over to the desk and show you a material test that I did, so here is a material test that I did on this cardstock. You can see that it started burning through. Now, if I went a higher power than 65 and a slower speed, the chances of creating a flame get higher and higher. So it's always best to keep an eye on things. So one of the benefits of this machine is you have this camera here, so I can keep an eye on it through the software. I also have the benefit of having external cameras, so I can actually keep an eye on it that way. So I can zoom in a bit more. And what I'll do is I'll pop over and have just a quick look so I can peer in. So some of them for sure are not the results that I want, or not the results that I'm looking for, but this is why we do this material test. I get asked, why would you offer, if material tests are this simple to do, why should you get paid for doing it? And the answer is actually quite simple. So I get asked to do material tests a lot by potential customers because they're not sure if the machine can achieve a result that they want, and they don't want to buy a machine, find out it's not fit for purpose, and then send it back and that money's tied up, or it's a waste of time, more importantly. So I already have the machine. They can come physically to the office or send me samples. I've done it both ways. And I can then use my knowledge and sometimes use stock xTool settings to get a good result. And then I can show them either if they're here in person, they can see how I go about doing it. If they're not, I can send it to them back, send it back to them, and they can judge for themselves. Is it a result that they're happy with? If they were selling it to a customer, would the customer like it? And it's literally that simple. So right now we're a minute and a half left. So just above my head, you can see here, processing time and estimated time. This is really, really accurate. The more often than not, it will finish a second earlier than take 2 minutes longer, for example. So it's at the slower speeds. And I should also note that you're not stuck on this screen. Your machine's not tied up watching it. So let's just say I'm happy that it's engraving. I can watch this on another monitor that I have. So I'll just minimize that. So I have it running right now, so I can still see the machine. But I've minimized it, and I can open up a new tab. I could go, do you know what? I've got another job I want to do. I could start designing that job. Up the top, you can see that it says busy, so I can't take a picture, but I can drag assets on the screen. Or it might be you have another machine like myself, and I could go, do you know what? I want to run a job on the F2 Ultra UV. I can run a different job on this machine. So you're not tied up. You don't have to run just one job per machine, one laser per machine. You can navigate between the lasers. And as you get more lasers, which inadvertently people end up buying one laser and then adding more to the arsenal, you'll find that they work great together. So for the M2, I would use that to cut the material, and then I would use a different laser to engrave, simply because the other lasers I have are faster. So that machine is finished. So I'll pop over here. And I'll switch this to the desk camera. So we're looking at something along these lines. So just looking at the material test. So if I zoom out and just move this over here, 330% power. So I think when I look at it, I like the result. I think the lines per inch need to be increased. So what I can do here is I'm just going to create a square. I'm going to do the same thing again, 3 millimeters by 3 millimeters. I'm going to create my own little one that's more dialed in. This is my point of reference now. So I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, what could I tweak? So the top one, 300 speed, 30 power. So I'm going to go 30 power, 300 speed. And I'm going to go 200. So typically I wouldn't go this high, but I want to see what the result looks like. So I'm just going to drop this back in the machine and create a few I'm going to take another close-up picture, and it's going to be here. And what I'm going to do is just do a few different results. So I'm just going to copy and paste. And you can see here, they snap into place. So I'm just going to do a couple. So I've done one at 30% power, 300 speed. And if I hide my face, 200 lines per centimeter. I've changed that to 200 lines per centimeter. And what I'll do is I'll do one that's 20% power too. So same everything, but 20% power. And I might even do another one. And I might go 20% power. Well, 30% power, I'll do 400 speed. So I've done 3 different types now, and you can just align these perfectly. So I can go align, top align, bottom align in terms of distribution, distribute horizontally. So now they're equal distance horizontal. So I'll show you if I do this and I do this, you can see 1.46. If I zoom in more, 1.64 is the one side, 2.13 is the other. And again, if I select this, go over to distribute horizontally, and it's made them even. So if I select that and just go over here, I'm just going to hit process. 59 seconds. And again, hit the start button. So again, this is a real life project. This is something that you can do. So that is more of a result that I'm looking for. So if I enable that monitoring so you can see what is going on inside. And that blue light that you're seeing, that's the diode. So it's sometimes referred to as a blue light laser. So it's engraved too. And again, I've not used this machine to do a materials test on this material. This is literally from scratch, thrown in the deep end. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and now it's done it. So again, I'm going to open up the machine. And switch to the desk camera. And you can see the bottom 3. So I quite like the middle one. The middle one is definitely the best out of all 3. So if I leave that there and I just say output off. Now, what is different about the middle one? So the middle one is 30% power, 300 speed, 200. So that one is less power. I think just looking at this material test here, if we go up in strength in power, it doesn't naturally equate to a better engrave. So I might dial this settings in again. So if I do another load, copy and paste, and I'll do it underneath. I'm going to change these settings again. So what I'll do is I'll have 300 lines per inch, 300 lines per inch, and I might go 35% power, 300 speed, 300 lines per inch. So I'm just going to drop this again in the bed. It will take a picture. It will automatically do it. So we have that auto mode set to on. And it's taking a picture. So I'll get another picture, close-up picture. So I'll just cover it so it's about there. And we have the output on these ones set to off. I'll put them on a blue light. You can see here, output off. Here, output on. And these are the ones that have slightly different settings. Hit start. It's nothing glorious. Material testing isn't a glorious thing. So if I switch over now to here, I just switched over all these settings. So I changed the settings here, 20% power, 300 speed, 30% power, 300 speed, 300 lines per centimeter on everything. That's the maximum lines per centimeter, and I increased the power just a tad here. So if I go back down here and click on that, that takes us back to the job. I'll load up what it looks like in here, and it's going to take 48 more seconds. If anyone has any questions, please do drop them in the comments. And another thing that we can do is multiple passes. So I won't get into that today. But if you're not getting the desired result in one pass, you don't have to leave it there. You might take multiple passes, because it might be a case of if you use too much power, you're getting a burnt result. So when I do cardstock, generally speaking, I can do one pass and it's fine. But sometimes some cardstock requires two passes at a certain setting, and I get the desired result. So that is done. And again, I'm just going to lift this up. And I would probably say it's no better. So if I switch over to the desk camera again, I would say the middle one was still the best there. And that was quicker. That was done quicker. So we'll dial in on that maybe tomorrow. And that is all the time we have for today. If anyone has any questions, please do let me know. And again, there is a little raffle, or I don't know what you would call it, at the moment from xTool. So if you scan the QR code, enter in your email address and name, they will draw 2 winners, and they will each win a single £100 xTool gift card. And you'll be notified next week if you win. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to buy a machine. That's something that you can enter absolutely free. And again, please do reach out if you have any questions. So if you have any questions, please do drop them in the comments. Alternatively, you can email me at wayne@ascendcd.com. Reach me on +44 7846 110 270, or alternatively go to info.ascendcd, and that will have all my social media handles if you prefer to reach out to me on social media. I should also let you know that I can give you a slight discount if we do a host assist order. So that's on top of any existing discount that is running on xTool's website. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow at the same time. So I'll be online Friday and Saturday at 5 p.m.